Hi, I'm Leslie, the Geek Mama, and I love to get into the nitty-gritty of homeschooling. Today I'm sharing with you the educational activities that my toddler, my 2-year-old, especially loves. When he was just a year old, it was easy to keep him busy in the homeschool room with just any old toy, really. He just liked to wander the room, and I had a collection of toys I kept in the schoolroom for him, just for the schoolroom. He didn't have it in other parts of the house, so those kept him busy. He'd sit with me, he'd sit with his brothers, he'd listen in, I'd read him books, and he was fine. But once he turned 2, it became more challenging to keep his attention occupied, and a 2-year-old isn't going to have a long attention span to begin with. But I found that I needed to be more purposeful in the activities I had for him in the schoolroom. And I also wanted him to learn something. I mean, I'm not going to have any type of formal curriculum for him, but I did have goals for him, or things to work on, learning colors, one-to-one correspondence. He actually knew most of his letters and numbers when he was a year old, just from watching educational television. So I haven't had to work on that too much with him, but we have been needing to work on colors and one-to-one correspondence. So that's what I'm going to share with you, the things I found that he enjoys and that makes mommy happy because there's some educational value to them. Now, these 3 things are, a couple of them are his favorites, and one is a little bit newer, so he's learning how to play with it. One of his favorites has been this neat little toy. It's just a shape sorter, really. Triangle, circle, square, rectangle. There's 4 of each shape. They're plastic. You can take them all off, which I do, and he works on putting them back where they go. So I like this toy because, first of all, these are really light. They're plastic and they're really light. I know that, wooden toys like this one are nice. I guess this is wood, yeah. Wooden toys like this one are nice, but my kids, they throw things, and we have a big TV in here, so I'm pretty careful about, I don't want a whole lot of big wooden toys in here because they will all get thrown towards something or someone at some point or another. So these are really light. If they hit the TV, they probably won't break it, but don't test me on that. I like that that I can work on different things with him, on recognizing where the shapes go, the shapes themselves. I can work on colors with him, and fine motor skills. Fine motor skills is an area I never really thought about with my oldest because he naturally just hasn't had any trouble with how to hold a pencil. But my preschooler does have some issues, and we've had to work on fine motor skills a lot, so I'm mindful of that with my youngest. And anything where they have to place things and use their thumb and pointing finger are especially helpful for that. So he loves this toy. At first he had a hard time with where to put the shapes, but he's become pretty good at that now. And with the circles, he likes to roll them, and that takes a little bit of skill. So he'll roll them across the table to me. Another one of his favorite toys, this is a new favorite for him, is just monkeys in a barrel. You can play games with these, but with my toddler and also my preschooler, we just use them for the fine motor skill aspect for the most part. They hang on each other like this, so I'll just hold one or put it on the edge of this barrel, and he'll hang the rest. We'll work on numbers with them, so I'll count with him. That's our one-to-one correspondence. I'll say, okay, how many are there? We have to count 1, 2, 3. So that's helpful for that. And even with my preschooler, he's really like these. So I've done simple addition with him. So, you have 2 monkeys. If you add 1 monkey, how many are you going to have? And so learning that's a nice, fun, really fun activity for them. They love it. I'm surprised how much they love it. This is a newer toy that we got. It's got 2 sides. On this side we have animals and all these little pegs, different colors, and you're supposed to move the pegs to, so this peg will go to the roof of the house. So we can work on color identification and animals and fine motor skills. And then there's another side where we have shapes introduced. So this is kind of a 2-for-1 toy, and I was pretty excited to get it. This was a Christmas gift for my toddler. So this was another fun one to have. He's still kind of, I think he finds it challenging to, there's some critical thinking involved, because if you want to get this yellow one here, then you have to move these others out of the way so you can move that there. So he's still a little bit iffy about that. But that just shows me that that's an area for us to work on, and and still have a little bit of fun. If mommy sits down and does it with him, he'll do it. So we both like this one. Another one of both my toddlers and preschoolers' favorites are these muffins and the muffin tin, and it comes with these tongs to pick things up, and also this scoop one. I think they both came with this one, where you can pick up and put them in the tin. So they just like to pick them up and feel them. They have a nice texture to them. They're great for counting, color identification, fine motor skills, and sorting. And there's also these little cards that you can put in the bottom of the tin. So like you can put the color down and say, can you put all the purple ones in the purple area, or you can do, use the number cards to either play a game or just, I don't get too much in the games because kids never play games the way they're supposed to be played. I'll just pick it up and say, what number is that? Use it for number identification, and let's see if we can count 5 yellow ones, that kind of thing. So my preschooler actually will just sit and play with this for a while, and it doesn't bother him that it's cooking related. It's at his age, there's not so much about what's a girl's game or what's a boy's game. He just loves this one, and he needs to work on the fine motor skills. So that's what I love about this. These links have also been a recent favorite for my 2 younger kids. Many things we can work on here with these: counting, fine motor skills, to put the links together, and they're pretty. There's a pretty big area there. It's, it takes a little bit of work to get in there, but kids can do it pretty easily. I'm actually worried that I'll break it, just because I am stronger than my younger 2 kids. So I try to be careful, but they work at it just fine and get it just right. So we can do counting, fine motor skills, color identification, and just creativity. You could do work on patterns with these. Each of these links is a different shape. So, this one, my son tried to get creative. So this has just been a fun toy. They'll make necklaces out of it, or they'll try to hang them off something. So they have a lot of fun with this one. It's a lot to pick up, but a rule in our house is if you make a mess, you clean it up. So they're expected to clean up. I really give them just one of these things at a time to play with. Often I'll play with my 2-year-old. I'll sit and do the activity with him, or he'll sit with his one of his older brothers and do these activities. But I don't have more than, let's say, 2 of them out at a time. And I just want to point out, these are not the original packaging. The muffin tin toy and this one, I bought these plastic bins at Michael's because it's just easier to stack them and to put them away cleanly, and for me to just hand it to them, and they're clear. I can just look and see what's in there. And now we have counting bears. You can get all sorts of counting toys, and I got just the one. I got the bears. They're good enough. So we use them for counting. We use them for sorting, and we use them for color identification and for learning simple math. So this is a big hit with my preschooler as well. And my toddler is learning just how much fun these can be. And I've even used them for my preschooler for his speech therapy. He's been working on the J sound, so I say, these are jolly bears. Let's count all the jolly bears. So there's lots of different ways you can use them. I got them for last year when my preschooler was doing the letter of the week curriculum from Confessions of a Homeschooler. So she has some counting activities, and so I got them to this is one of the items I got to go with that, to give him something to count. One of my kids' favorite toys this year, and this is all of my kids have loved these, are these Alpha Bots. They were a gift to one of my kids. I believe they're from Lakeshore Learning. And each of the letters transforms into some robot. Now, the box that they came in had a picture of what they were all supposed to look like. And they all have like a little head, and you can move them around. And my kids just love, look at these little arms, and that, how cute is that? My kids just love these toys. So they'll make them all into robots. So obviously, letter identification, uppercase letters, and fine motor skills. I was really excited to see my preschooler playing with these because he needs every opportunity possible to work that thumb and pointy finger. So they'll play with that forever. With my toddler, I'll ask whichever one he has. I don't go through every letter. I just very gently, whichever one he has, ask what letter that is, and I'll just let him. This is something that he can just play with independently and be just fine. A toy that my toddler has loved this year is this little foam pegboard. So it's got a little baggie to keep everything in. I need to get something else to keep all this in because this little bag kind of drives me crazy. But it's got a little foam pegboard, and then pegs of large pegs, so they're safe for the kids. Different colors, and you just put them in. You can put them in different slots, or you can stack them on top of each other. My 2-year-old, he just loves to make one big tower, and he gets somebody to come and hold a tower for him steady so he won't fall over, and then he watches it fall. So great for fine motor skills, color identification, counting, and all those things. Whatever I feel needs to be worked on at that moment, it's the thing I will work on. Another toy that my 2-year-old loves to stack with are these number blocks. These are one of those wooden toys I was a little concerned about getting. It looks like the company is called Begin Again. So numbers 0 through 9, different colors. Lots of things to do with these. Can put numbers in order. For even a preschooler, I've used these with my preschooler. Put numbers in order, number identification, color identification, and stacking. So, of course, that's what my 2-year-old loves to do. He loves to stack, and I'll identify numbers with him. Another cool thing about these toys is they have the number on one side, and on the back they have dots, like dice. So I can, with my 2-year-old, I'll have him count these. So we've been working on one-to-one correspondence. So how many dots are there? 1, 2, 3. And then I can turn it over and show him what number is that. So that has been a big hit. So I'll do that for a few seconds, as long as he'll tolerate it, talking about the numbers and counting, and then I just let him stack them because that's really what he wants to do. Now here's a great cheap toy. I got this at the dollar store. I also have a number one and an uppercase letters. So just got them at the Dollar Tree, and my youngest loves these things. He loves talking about letters. Like I said, he enjoys books. He learned his letters from watching, I think, Word World or Super Y or one of those shows when he was just a year old. So I'm not, of course, trying to read with him, but I am trying to make sure he maintains that knowledge by talking about letters with him and identifying letters. There's a couple he has problems with, so I'll focus on those. And I've slowly started introducing letter sounds. So he'll take everything out, work on getting them back in, and with a few of them, I'll tell him what the sound is. So that's what we'll do. And we'll talk about colors, and it's great for fine motor skills as well. I also have a couple of fun books to share with you. We got this book recently called City Block. And this is a really neat book because it has a story to read, but then it also has some cutouts. So it's creative in that way and keeps his interest in that way. It's a board book, so it's nice. Or it's not quite as hard as most board books, but very high quality. And so you have all these cutouts here. You get to talk about the ferry, about being in a city. Where we live in the suburbs, of course, so this is kind of interesting for him. Here's a helicopter. So there's lots of things you could talk about and key in on, or just read the book and let them enjoy it and flipping the pages. And this is another new favorite. Polka Dot or McDonald's Farm. There's several of these types. This is the one we have, and it has these little dots that you poke. So there's a story to read, you can sing the song, and then you can count. You know, we have some number identification here. You can identify the number and start counting them. It makes a nice satisfying noise. All of my kids love that. So this has been a really fun one for another fun educational item for my 2-year-old that he would just do on his own, just poking those. But since one-to-one correspondence was one of the things I wanted to work on with him this year, this is perfect for that. And it covers the read aloud, my read aloud requirement for them each day too. So those have been my Toddlers favorite items these past few months. I hope you found this helpful. Please comment below if you have any questions or suggestions for other toddler activities and fun educational things. As always, please comment, subscribe, like, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.